The California story has many chapters. It's a story of icons, of imagination, and challenging the status quo. A story you'll find at the Oakland Museum of California. The story of California, the story of you.
Good news in Oakland! Oh yeah, it feels great.
Good news in Oakland, reporting from the Kaiser Center at the 2010 Mayoral Candidates Forum, hosted by the Oakland Chamber of Commerce, League of Women Voters, and the Bay Area Business Roundtable with mayoral candidate Miss Marcie Hodge. Marcie, welcome to Good News in Oakland. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Marcie, tax issues, budget crises, police officer salaries, I could go on and on, corruption with all the bad news. How can we trust you and your administration to lead the city of Oakland?
Well, I have a vision for Oakland. We have to be a much more friendlier city to our residents and to businesses. We need to increase the tax dollars so that we're able to support the essential services that we need. As I talked about, there are many residents who are concerned about safety, residents who are out of jobs, who need to be retrained. We need to bring back the Job Skills Center so that we can train workers, bring in more businesses from across the country, Silicon Valley type companies, companies from Asia, and this is the way that we're going to build our tax base. To not really focus on bringing in more business is simply to say we're going to tax the taxpayer for the essential services that we need, and that's a method that we really need to change.
It's bad news. And so you talk a lot about these things, and we know that there are positive things happening, but it doesn't get presented in the media. What media strategy will you employ to support local outlets like Good News in Oakland to really get the good news stories out?
Well, we really have to have an open door policy to be open to everyone. Sitting down and talking to all media networks to let them know what's going on in the city. We have to be transparent. And that's the way that we educate our citizenry, get them involved in the city government, and make sure that we're sending out press releases weekly to let people know what's going on in Oakland, and be willing to sit down with those news organizations that reach, the city of Oakland, all of its residents.
And lastly, people want to understand, what is ranked choice voting and how does it impact the people?
Well, ranked choice voting, it really eliminates the need to have a June and November election. And so what it does is simply allow you to cast your votes, which you would normally do anyway, in June, and then it would ordinarily narrow down to 2 candidates. Here you get your first choice, you get your second choice, and you also get a third choice. So what folks need to just understand is that just imagine that it's June and November at the same time. You're voting for your first choice and your second choice as you would normally do with the normal election, and it saves us about $500,000 as well. So that's the benefit of it, is just voting for 3 top choices and saving Oakland some money.
That's good news. Marcie, thank you so much for being on Good News in Oakland. It was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
The California story has many chapters. It's a story of icons, of imagination, and challenging the status quo. A story you'll find at the Oakland Museum of California. The story of California, the story of you.
Good news in Oakland! Oh yeah, it feels great.